Hey guys, it's me Zoe here with Chestnut Hills Farmstead. There's only one thing that be going on if we're not on the farm and you see my porch. So if you guessed it, we're going to do another cooking video today. This one has been highly requested. If you remember not long ago, I put up this reel right here. I'm going to get Nick to put it in. This reel, and you guys said yes, we want the recipe. Well, today is that day. Today we are going to do the homemade coconut cake with my special ingredient. Well, you guys have all been asking about the coconut cake recipe, and I would love to say that it's been mine from the beginning, but it's not. I found it when I had a desire to make a coconut cake, but I did tweak some things from the original recipe, so now we're going to call it Zoe's Absolutely Amazing, Fantastic, Super Soft, Moist Coconut Cake. That's going to be a long title. So let's just say a really good coconut cake. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show you the ingredients, and then we'll come back and I'll have everything already pre-measured. But we're going to use cake flour. It gives a better crumb than your all-purpose or self-rising flour mixture. So for this one, just to get that real tender crumb, we're going to use cake flour. We're going to use 2.5 cups of it. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to do 3/4 cups of soft butter. I'm using salted, so we omitted the salt from this recipe. We're going to use 1 2/3 cups of granulated sugar, 5 egg whites only, so we can keep that very white color to our cake, and it also helps with the crumb. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of sour cream we have. We're going to use some vanilla extract and unsweetened canned coconut milk and some sweetened coconut flakes. So we're going to use a cup of this, excuse me, unsweetened coconut milk and a cup of shredded coconut. But we're also going to add something else. Because I don't really like using extracts, I found something that does better than coconut extract, and that is the juices and a little bit of the sweetened condensed coconut milk. This is a game changer. You can find it wherever you find your coconut milk. All your coconut waters is typically where your flakes are in the baking aisle, but it is just like your sweetened condensed milk, but it's from your coconut milk. And so when you open it, you're going to have a layer of juices, which I pour some of that in, and then I'll pour a little bit of the sweetened condensed milk in as well. And then I'll use the rest when we're making our icing. But this is our secret ingredient. So this is everything that we're going to need for the cake. And then we'll use for our buttercream is a cup of unsalted butter. Actually, we're going to use salted today because that's what I always buy. We just omit the extra salt. We're going to use a full brick of cream cheese that's soft. We're going to use 5 cups of powdered sugar, a little bit of this coconut milk, a little bit of this sweetened condensed milk instead of coconut extract, just a splash of vanilla, and some more of the shredded coconut to go on the outside. Let's get started baking this cake. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we are going to preheat our oven to 350, and this is going to make 3 rounds. So we're going to have a 3-tiered cake. You can do an 8-inch or a 9-inch. Either way, it's going to be fine. So I have 3 of my pans. They're well loved. They've all got parchment paper in them, and they are ready to go. In the bowl, I've already put 2.5 cups of flour, cake flour. I put 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're just going to give that a good stir so it's all mixed in together real good. And we're going to set this to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start in our mixer. We're going to put 12 tablespoons of butter, which is going to be 1.5 sticks. And these are all soft. As you can tell, they're not melted, but they're enough that when you press, it leaves an indentation. So we're going to go ahead and put these, and we're going to put our 1 2/3 cup of granulated sugar in, and we're going to let that go for several minutes until it's nice and creamed together. So let's go over to the mixer and let's get that started. All right, let's get our sugar butter mixture. This is the base for most any recipes. Baked recipes is always going to be creaming your butter and your sugar together. So we're just going to put that entire stick in. And like I told you guys, it indents easily. That's room temperature. We always keep ours over in the window where it's not going to melt, but it does stay soft. Now we're just going to put the sugar right on top of it. There's a half, 1, 1/3, 2/3. And now what we're going to do, let's lock it in. And we're going to let this mix. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting kind of a buttery mixture. See how light it is? We're going to go just a little bit longer. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. We are looking for a creamy, sticking to the sides kind of base. So next what we're going to do is we're going to get some eggs and get some egg whites and get them added in. So what we are going to do is we're going to do egg whites one at a time. That way if we get mixed in, we're not wasting everything. So we'll go ahead and crack it, get it separated and put in here, and then we'll go ahead and incorporate all 5 in before we actually mix. So for egg whites, you're going to let all the runny stuff go. We're just going to kind of move this back and forth. Okay, there's one. And one other way that you can do this is you can pour the whole thing in your hand and just kind of wiggle out the yellow and put it back in your shell. That was 4. And we're just going to get that mixed in before we continue with the next ingredients. So looking in, it looks a little frothy, and that's what egg whites do. So that's a good thing. But that's well mixed. So let's move on to sour cream. Alright, here comes the time we start adding in some of our heavier wet stuff. So we're going to add in 1/2 cup of sour cream. So I'm going to put it in my little measure. So there's 1/2 cup. Let's get this opened up. We're going to go ahead and add in that. We're going to add in vanilla extract. If you're from the South, you know that we measure extracts with our heart, not by measurement. But if you're a measurement type person, we're doing 2 teaspoons. That's what my recipe says. But like I said, we're going to do 1, 2. And here's where we're going to add in some of our sweetened condensed coconut milk. Coconut milk. Because I don't want to use extract. Sweetened condensed coconut. See, there's the good stuff. We're going to pour some of that in. And we're going to add just a little bit of the actual solids. But as you see, it separates. And that goodness down in there, all that liquid, is what we want. So we're just going to scrape all that extra off. We poured some of that liquid in there. Let's do just a little more for flavor. And we're going to get that mixed up. And then we're going to move on to our dry stuff and our coconut milk. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and measure out 1 cup of this coconut milk. And as you see, it is solid, but it very quickly will turn liquid. And what we'll do is we're going to pour what little bit of the juices in there. See, a little bit more. There we go. And we're going to save the rest to use for our icing. I'm just going to give it a little stir, break up some of those solids, and make a mess apparently. And we're going to alternate this and our dry ingredients. Okay, so I decided to come back to the table. My face is not important right now, the ingredients are. But I wanted to show you guys, it is going to look curdled when you begin. That's because you're mixing different types of liquids along with solid butter solids and sugar solids. So it's going to look like it's curdled. And that's exactly what we want. It's not going to actually incorporate until we incorporate our flour and our coconut milk. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some coconut milk. It doesn't matter how much, we're just going to space it out. Going to get it mixed in. Going to do about 1/3 of the flour. And y'all know I love my handy dandy mixer, but we're going to mix this by hand today. Alright, we got that a little bit incorporated. Let's do half of that. We're getting there, getting there. Now we're gonna the other 1/3. Getting that mixed in. Matt, would you get this open for me? Alright, let's pour the rest of this coconut milk in. Get all the goodness scraped out. Stir it in. Rest of our flour's in. Let's get that good and stirred. So we're not quite all the way incorporated. So let's go ahead and put some of our, we're going to guesstimate about 1 cup. I'm going to say that's about 1 cup. The rest of that's for icing the cake. Now let's just give it a good stirry stir. Alright. There we go. We got us a cake batter. Now we're going to separate this among the 3 different pans. And I'll be back to show you what it looks like before we stick it in the oven. 3 batters headed to the oven. When they come out, they should be glorious, beautiful cake layers. Alright, those are in the oven. We're going to start at about 22 minutes and go from there. I'll let you know exactly how long it took mine to do, but just know to be checking them after about 22, 23 minutes for doneness. As soon as they start browning, the centers come out clean, pull them out. We're going to cool them. See you back in just a few minutes. Alrighty, 3 beautiful cakes, a little bit of brown. That took about 25 minutes and they are ready to cool. All right, let's get started with our icing. We're going to take 1 box cream cheese, 2 sticks of butter, and in they go. We're going to get all this mixed up real good. Looks good to me. Let's just see, it's pretty smooth. Everything is combined in there. Looks good. Now we're going to add in some confectioners sugar and our coconut milk and some extract. Now let's start working our powder in. We're going to add in a little splash of vanilla. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of our coconut milk. Add in some of our sweetened condensed milk, coconut milk, for our coconut flavor. We got a little more we can add if we need to. And now we're going to start doing our powdered sugar. And I like to do it 1 cup at a time so that you don't have an explosion. So we're just going to let it mix up a little bit. Just enough that we don't have loose powder. This is cup number 2. Number 5. So what we might do, just to add a little bit of this coconut milk in, just for a little. We're going to turn that up and let it mix up real well. I have this neat little tool that I'm going to use to make sure all my cake layers are even, because they rarely come out even. You can always just use a serrated knife. You can leave them alone if you want to. Whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to go ahead and get my cake layers leveled out, and then we'll begin stacking them. Alright, we got all 3 layers carved down. I put a heaping scoop of our coconut icing we made earlier. We're just going to kind of space it out, even it out. Let's put a little bit more. Okay, next layer. That one just goes right on top. We're going to do the same thing here. One more. So we're going to put a little extra on the top because we need this to cascade down the sides for it makes it easier for us to spread it around. Rhett just farted.
No, no.
Rhett. Rhett! spread. Go to the bathroom.
Let me see your phone.
No, you're not getting my phone.
Was that you?
Okay, we got the top layer put on, and I put a good heaping amount of this icing on the top because as we spread it, we're going to allow it to go down the sides so that we can spread around the sides of it as well. And what we'll do is the icing's a little bit loose right now. We'll come in a little while. We're going to put it in the fridge. We'll come back in a little bit and add a thin layer over it to get our coconut to stick. Alright, we're going to refrigerate this for about 20 minutes and we'll come back and do a simple layer over the top to adhere our coconut shavings to. Okay, so while I let this set, we ran and took Rhett to his first swim practice, learn how to swim, and it came a flood. So anyway, we're back. The cake is set. It's got a nice firm texture to it. Now all we're going to do is take some of our room temperature icing and we're just going to spread some around in a little area at a time. As you can see, it takes coconut. We're just going to pat it on the sides. We've got excess. If you're not doing it on a plate like I am, then you can take a cake board or a larger pan and put it under it and kind of work it around. Okay, we've got coconut all around the sides. We're just going to put a little bit on top so it's kind of sticky again. We're going to sprinkle our coconut on. And there you have it. Homemade coconut cake with my secret ingredient.
You want me to get up while you cut it?
No, you stay right there. You got drug into this to cut it.
Oh, you need that over there?
I need it right here.
Okay.
We're going to cut you a piece and you can be our trier.
Well, I didn't fix my hair where we got caught in the rain.
I didn't either, so we're okay.
Oh.
You're just as good as me. I think your hair fared a little better than mine did. Ready?
Yeah.
Da 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 da! Alrighty.
Okay.
Alright. Tell them what you think.
Tastes like kerosene.
Well, I'm known for that. So that would be a
No, it's really good.
that'd be a good problem.
It's really good.
That icing is so subtle, but it's so good. Like the coconut really comes out, and I really think my secret ingredient is what did it. Don't you? Do you remember the secret ingredient?
I do. Did you tell them what it was?
I did. They had to use it for the
Not a
recipe.
secret now.
I'm just saying, I think that's what really makes it. Instead of using coconut extract, using the sweetened condensed coconut milk gave you the flavor you want without it tasting fake.
So how many pieces are we taking to Catherine?
Rest of it. I think I'm going to slice it up and take it to you football people. Good idea?
Andy will love it. He's been waiting on buttermilk pie.
Yeah, it ain't the same, but it's quite good. Alright. Tell them thanks for watching.
Y'all been waiting on this video. You've been asking about it. I read the comments. You keep asking me where it is. Here it is. You have the coconut cake recipe that Coghill fell in love with. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time at Chestnut Hill Farmstead.